Katie Sampson Lacrosse Tournament benefits spinal cord research.
Radnor High School Library observes Earth Day. Hi, and welcome to this week's edition of News Center 16. I'm Sean Kasser.
And I'm Lisa Berger. We'll have those stories and more later in the show. But topping the Radnor Beat this week, on Thursday, April 24th, during First Block, Radnor history students heard from an Iraqi American. This special program was sponsored by the Library Forum and organized by Ken Sklar. As a follow-up forum to the war debate held the week before, students were provided with first-hand accounts of Iraqi civilian life. The speaker gave a personal account of his escape from Iraq and an acclamation to Western civilization. His views on the war were influenced by aspects many Americans could not account for, such as cultural complications in Iraqi history. The presentation was an educational success.
On Saturday, April 26, 2003, Radnor High School held its annual junior prom in the cafeteria of the high school. The students enjoyed the Enchanted Forest theme and danced away to the musical stylings of the DJs of Silver Sound. The dance was organized by the junior prom committee, headed by Robert Dorfman, the junior class president. Class advisors Dave Wood and Ted Molman made sure this year's junior prom was the best ever. In the end, a good time was had by all, and the students are looking forward to next year's prom.
Planning for this year's baccalaureate has begun in full stride. Headed by Mrs. Lois Wysocki, baccalaureate is a spiritual ceremony for soon-to-be graduates. The idea is to look back on the past 12 years and to also wish luck to everyone for the future. This year there is a committee of about a dozen involved seniors who have so far chosen a theme and brainstormed some material for the ceremony. In 1993, a Supreme Court case decided that members of the clergy could no longer lead the services. So, starting that year, baccalaureate has been student-run for a decade. This year's theme is The Places I Remember, with the twist of, oh, the places you will go thrown in. Any senior interested in writing, doing music, or art, or in any way participating should contact Mrs. Lois Wysocki as soon as possible.
Don't you dare touch that dial. Marshall Fleming will be in with this week's sports right after this commercial break.
The Los Angeles Times called Barbara Montgomery talented and adventurous. Her voice was described by the Philadelphia Inquirer as creamy and smoky. Silky smooth and intimate, said the New York Star Ledger. And the Jazz Times said her musical abilities seem almost boundless. She is jazz vocalist Barbara Montgomery, and she's just one of the many stars coming to Radnor High School's Evening with the Philly Jazz All-Stars on May 3rd, Saturday, May 3rd. Get your tickets now at Radnor High, or at Shady Dog Records on North Wayne Avenue, or at Troubadour Music at North Wayne Avenue. Or call 215-266-9084 for information.
Hello, and welcome back to this week's edition of News Center 16. Now Marshall, the Madman Fleming, is in with this week's sports. Madman?
Sean, my nickname is Scooter. Sorry.
Okay, Madman, just read the sports.
Thanks, Sean. In this week's sports, varsity lacrosse beat Springfield 11-1. Girls varsity lacrosse beat Lower Marion 18-2. Varsity baseball lost to Conestoga 11-2, and softball lost 11-1 against Conestoga and lost 6-5 to Haverford. Now here's an interview with Mr. King, the tennis coach of this year's season so far.
We had a pretty good year and a rebuilding year for us. A lot of young stars that are out here behind me trying to hit the tennis ball over the net. We finished the regular season 7-4. Fourth place Central League finish behind Lower Marion, Conestoga, and Strathaven. We just had our first round in the team playoffs yesterday against Wissahickon, and we lost a close match 5-2. Right now we're going to work on doubles. We have Central League doubles coming up, and after that district doubles, and we're hoping to get somebody into the state tennis tournament Memorial Day weekend. So what we're going to work on today is a little bit of doubles. Other than that, like I said, great year overall, 7-4, rebuilding year. We're a young team, so next year, look out Central League. We're going to come back with a vengeance. A couple players this year that did really well. Keating Sherry at #1 singles had a fantastic year. He finished, he's not finished quite yet. We have one more match against the Haverford School on April 30th. So he could finish 12-2 right now. Keating is at 11-2, which is an incredible record for a number 1 singles player. Our other player, Josh Wilson, playing number 3 singles this year, also had a strong year with only 3 losses. So those are the guys that have really performed consistently. And we look for those guys to come back next year and really help us out. And we hope to get one of them into the doubles tournament again at Penn State College, Penn State University rather, Memorial Day weekend.
Now back to you, Lisa.
Thanks, Marshall. While a lot of Radnor students slept in during the first Saturday of spring break, some others took advantage of the beautiful day to benefit spinal cord research. The event was the Katie Sampson event, named in honor of former Radnor High School lacrosse goalie who suffered an unfortunate accident a few years ago while sledding. Ever since then, she's made momentous strides and hopes one day to walk again. Bill German and several others put together an event to benefit those who are not nearly as fortunate. The idea was to have both public and private schools compete for one day in the game that Katie Sampson loved. Also present were a few organizations dedicated to help spinal cord injury and visits from stars of the Philadelphia Wings and Don Toffelson. Radnor played against Carroll and beat them. There were vendors aplenty and enough to do for people who weren't a huge fans of lacrosse. Despite the slightly muddy situation due to rain earlier that day, everyone had a wonderful time. It was very successful, and of course, go Radlax.
Earlier this month, the Radnor Township School Board discussed the renovation of Radnor Middle School. On Monday, April 7th, 2 teams of architects gave presentations to the board, although ultimately no decision was made. John Milner Associates Incorporated of Westchester is intended to present again on June 10th. They also estimated that the school's construction would take between 24 and 30 months. Hardy Holtzman Pfeiffer Associates, based in New York City, is planning to present again on May 1st, and estimated that the construction would take between 18 and 24 months. In addition, Radnor Middle School Principal William Laffey spoke, urging the board to make some decisions and begin work on the new middle school. Board members hope to reach a decision at the next meeting. They will also be discussing the possible sites for the new middle school. The first site is Enke Park, which is adjacent to the Township Administration Building and is an official township building. The other possibility is the site of Eichen Elementary School. Be sure to check Channel 11 for more information after the next board meeting.
We now take you to Business of the Week with Elizabeth Cutler.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Cutler, and I'm here at Meredith's Market, a new store in Wayne, and I got the opportunity to interview owner Meredith McLaughlin for this week's Business of the Week. How would you describe Meredith's Market? Just what it sells? It's gourmet takeout with antiques and gifts and catering by design. I love to cook, so I started cooking about 15 years ago with my father in our first store in Paoli, and we just had such a great response that we started catering a lot, and it just has expanded and grown into what you see today, which is a lot of hobbies of a lot of different women.
And if you had to pick just a few, what would be your favorite products and/or services?
Well, I love to do the event planning. We love to do all the parties. Of course, that's my most favorite thing. But on the product end, purses would be my favorite thing, and probably what we're most known for would be the purses and the French antiques, of course.
So be sure to check out Meredith's Market the next time you're in Wayne. I sure like it. Elizabeth Cutler, NEWSCENTER 16.
On Tuesday, April 22nd, the Radnor High School Library observed Earth Day by having a no printing day. For the entire day, printing was banned in the library. The purpose was to observe the annual Earth Day as well as remind students and staff how much paper is wasted each day. Although some were annoyed that they could not use the library printers, many people realized the truth behind this symbolic act.
On Wednesday, April 23rd, the bioethics meeting was held at the Pennsylvania University's Department of Biology. Many biology students were invited to attend the meeting. They first debated a story about a teenage boy who had a heart transplant that had failed. The boy had decided not to receive another transplant, but his parents had wanted him to. After debating the story, they then discussed genetic engineering, genetic bias, intellectual property, who owns your genes, and genetic profiling. Even the head of the Department of Bioethics, Mr. Arthur Kaplan, stopped in to give his thoughts.
Well, that about wraps it up for this week's edition of NEWSCENTER 16. For Marshall the Madman, Elizabeth, and all of us here at NEWSCENTER 16, I'm Sean Kasser.
And I'm Lisa Berger. Be sure to join us next week, and don't forget to study for those upcoming AP exams.